Hi there, I'm Gideon Rose, editor of Foreign Affairs, and welcome to another edition of Foreign Affairs Focus. Today we have the distinct privilege and pleasure of speaking with Jack Devine, a longtime American covert operative, now with the Arkin Group, and the author of a wonderful new memoir, Good Hunting, an American Spy Master Story, and a wonderful article, What Happened in Chile, in the new issue of Foreign Affairs. Jack, you ended up as the acting director and associate director of the agency's covert operations outside the U.S., but as a young stripling, you were on the ground in Chile during the fall of Allende and the rise of Pinochet, which is the subject of your piece in FA. This is a very controversial episode in American history and Latin American history. How would you characterize the U.S. role in Allende's fall?
I think there's two parts to it, Gideon. One is what took place in 1970, where they tried to block Allende, and the White House sent a message to Santiago saying, we want you to stop it. The station chief said, it can't be done. They said, try it anyway, and it turned into a fiasco. At that point, most people don't realize this. Another cable came and said, cease and desist plotting with the military. But by all means, support the opposition with political support, propaganda support, and very big consideration, financial support. So the media that was in trouble, the political parties, we bolstered that. Okay, so to the degree that we roiled the waters, if you will, we contributed to it, but we did not plot with the military, and there's a big distinction in this. I would just quickly add, my view, Allende fell from his own weight, the policies, the ideology, and the military moved because it was an institutional threat. Their young officers were starting to rebel. So it wasn't for Constitution, it wasn't because of ties to the United States, it was because their institutions and the generals wanted to take charge.
Did we put Pinochet in? Are we responsible for Pinochet?
Actually, the irony in that, and I saw the cable. I mean, I know the fellow. I write about him in the book. A great operator, and set up my first recruitment. He went out and met Pinochet in the assessment stage, and said, "Oh, this man doesn't have the steel to lead a coup." So we got that one flat wrong, and we didn't know what was coming. We really. I got the first report. It's documented in the declassified documents. It was a very short cable saying on September 11. The Navy will start the coup against Allende. So we knew about it 3 days ahead of time. And my source was not a military officer. It was a businessman with military background who was very close, very, very close to the military. So he told me. We did not have direct access to the military until the night before. And one military official came to another officer almost as, we're going tomorrow, as an official statement.
When you look back on what's happened since in Chile, do you feel guilty? Do you feel responsible for a lot of bad things? Do you feel like maybe I shouldn't have gone around and played with the country's political destinies?
I think when you join CIA, you have to make some peace with, are you comfortable psychologically, philosophically, with the use of force and using it clandestinely? And I've thought about it a great deal. I talk about the principles in this book, Good Hunting, about when you have good covert action and bad covert action. But the use of force is really a philosophical argument that I think came together in the 14th century to discuss the use of force. So once you make peace with that, then it becomes an issue of who decides. And I'm unequivocal. That's the President of the United States. And I know of no covert action that has ever taken place without the President's explicit approval. And I stand ready to anyone that can step forward on that point. So if the President of the United States decides to take a policy, the CIA is the executor. So in that context, I do not have angst as a result of it. I was highly critical of Pinochet. In fact, before I left as a young whippersnapper, I was asked whether or not I could put some things on paper as I was leaving, thoughts to the new chief. And my memo said, we should use the same covert action to get rid of Pinochet, because by then, by the summer of '74, we had a very good handle on the extent of the human rights violations. I think the chief, half in deference to me, probably thought one way to end this guy's career is to be standing up pontificating, and I think it never went anywhere. But that was a sentiment. It wasn't just mine either.
As you look around the globe today and you see what Putin is doing in Ukraine, does this strike you as very familiar?
You know, if it wasn't so very serious, it's almost like a welcome feeling to me. It's like, oh, I know this. I've been in this Cold War. It was a more definable thing. And when I look at Ukraine, I mean, Putin, ex-KGB officer, is using the playbook of the Cold War. And he's using all the influence he can, intimidation, you know. Plausible denial does not mean believable denial. He has Russians in there and say, no, they're not Russians, you know. So when you look at it, and what I think is coming, and I've written to this in other articles, saying that he isn't going to try and grab the Western part. He's going to maximize his influence the way we would have done it in Chile. And that is buying political power, getting agents, influencing the propaganda piece, and increasing your intimidation that you can from the East. It's a classic playbook.
Do we still do that kind of thing today?
I hope so, and I know this is a sharp edge here. I'm recommending it. As we pull out from Afghanistan, and as now that we have Iraq behind us, I really don't see American forces on the ground unless we're hit. And yet the world is highly unstable. Our interests are very high. We are going to have to work through diplomacy, economic sanctions, incentives, military overt assistance, but we are going to have to make sure we have special friends that we're supporting below the radar, more than ever.
Jack Devine, author of What Really Happened in Chile and a wonderful memoir about his career in the CIA. Thank you very much.
Thank you.